We are about to get on our first of 3 flights today. We are leaving Michigan, heading to Chicago, Illinois, and then to LA, and then on to Honolulu from there. So by this evening, we'll be in Hawaii. Vince, Rachel, Jared, and I boarded our first flight of the day, soaring over Lake Michigan and landing in Chicago a half hour later. There was just enough time to grab some food on our layover before we had to get on our flight to Los Angeles. We flew over some snow-capped mountains and red canyons along the way, and soon we were in LAX waiting for our next flight. So our second flight of the day just landed in Los Angeles. Rachel and Jared's check bag did not make it on the flight. Nobody's really happy about that. But yeah, pretty soon our flight to Honolulu is going to be boarding. Rachel and Jared actually got a free upgrade to first class on this flight.
We deserve it, dang it, after our lost bag situation. It's all good. We'll make it there eventually, and we'll get our bags eventually.
So yeah, they're gonna abandon me and Vince to sit back in economy, but at least we have economy plus, so we do have like 6 extra inches of leg room.
We'll be up front eating our caviar and doing our champagne toast, and you guys are gonna be in the back there, all scrunched up and sharing one peanut between the two of you. It's awesome.
It couldn't be that much better in first class. There's no way.
Oh, excuse me, this is first class. You can go ahead and move along. I think there's some folding chairs in the back for you guys.
Okay, I'll just go back there with all of my non-lost baggage. We'll see you guys later. This isn't so bad. Look at all this leg room. They may have first class, but do they have a crusty old fry? The most ridiculous thing about this situation is Vince and I actually only got a bag of unsalted almonds on this 6-hour flight. Yeah, it doesn't look that great. First class, it's not that great.
There's almost too much space up here, too. This is just our first course.
It was night by the time we landed in Honolulu, so we went to our hotel for the evening. We finally made it to Honolulu. It is nighttime, but Vince and I are excited, so we're trying to find a way to get to the beach from our hotel. We did manage to find a beach, but we were both so exhausted from the day's travel that we didn't stay there for very long. It's almost 5 o'clock in the morning here in Honolulu, and we are headed back to the airport because, surprise, Hawaii is not our destination for this trip. We are actually headed to the Marshall Islands. Jared is like breaking the cardinal rule of travel over here and shopping for clothes at the airport.
I have no choice because my clothes are lost compliments of United Airlines. So I get to spend hundreds of dollars at the airport gift shop on new clothing.
I don't mind.
There's our plane. They're loading the checked baggage onto our airplane now, so me and Vince are watching to see if we can spot our bag. We got bored with looking for our bag pretty quickly, so instead we wandered around the airport's open-air garden until it was time to go to our gate. Before long, we were in the air again, waving goodbye to Oahu, and soon we spotted the ring-shaped coral atolls of the Marshall Islands. I was really excited that we were finally at our destination after all of that travel, and to know that we wouldn't have to take another flight for a few more days. There was a shuttle waiting for us at the airport, and soon we were checking into Hotel Robert Reimers. We finally just checked into our hotel in Majuro. It took us basically 2 days to get here, but we were staying at Robert Reimers. This room is me and Vince's. And we got a nice little balcony out here with a garden view. While exploring the hotel's garden, I found this green anole and got to watch it change colors from bright green to rusty brown. It's blazing hot out, so me and Vince and Jared are gonna go down and take a swim at the hotel's beachy area. There wasn't much coral to see, but there were lots of colorful fish like Moorish idols and hundreds of chromis. We also saw a cow skeleton and a pipefish, which is a relative of seahorses and sea dragons. That evening, we watched the sunset from the hotel garden and made friends with an adorable cat before our jet lag won out and we crashed into bed. just got up to our first morning in Majuro. We're not exactly sure what we're gonna do today. We booked a day tour out to Eno Island, but depending on the sea conditions, that might not actually happen. So we do have a backup plan. There's a beach on the complete opposite side of Majuro Atoll, so we'll probably rent a car if Eno can't happen and go up to that beach and go snorkeling there instead. While eating breakfast, we got the news that the Eno ferry wouldn't be running that day. Eno Atoll is not going to work out today. The waves are too choppy. We can't go out in the open ocean in that boat. We just rented this car and we are just going to drive around and see what we can see. So we drove the entire length of the atoll to Majuro's only sandy beach. We're at Laura Beach. It's very windy. The weather was windy and cloudy, but still hot enough to get into the water for some snorkeling. I got super lucky and the very first thing I found was an octopus. I saw what I thought was a moray eel poking out of a hole from the corner of my eye, but when I swam over to investigate, I realized I'd stumbled upon something much more exciting than an eel. I called everyone else over to come take a look, and we watched as the octopus changed its shape and colors to blend in with its surroundings. I've never had such a good octopus sighting in the daytime before, and it was fascinating to get to see its expert camouflaging capabilities in action. Besides the octopus, the reef at Laura Beach also had some beautiful corals, lots of colorful fish, and some mystery junk. We took a break from swimming to walk the beach. It was low tide, so there were these really cool sand flats that we could walk out on, and we found lots of little hermit crabs along the way. Apparently, Laura Beach draws a big crowd on weekends in Majuro, but we visited on a weekday, so we had the beach entirely to ourselves. Before we left, we got back into the water to cool off and look at more fish. Then we drove back into town and moved from our standard hotel rooms into a garden bungalow for the night. We moved into a cute little cabana for the night, still at Robert Reamer's, but a bit of an upgrade. But yeah, we got all of our stuff in here already, so it looks messy. We made friends with this cat yesterday, and now it lives with us. Well, the guys just drove to the airport because Jared's bag finally arrived in Majuro. We got a text from them, they did get the bag, so he can stop fretting about that. In a couple hours, we're headed out on what we've been most excited for in the Marshall Islands, which is we're going to stay on an uninhabited island tonight. We're bringing our own food and water, fending for ourselves. Right now, we're just waiting for the ferry out to Eno Island. Rachel and I hung out with our new cat while we waited for the guys to get back. She's back. Are you trying to come up? Yeah. Come on up. I love her. Are you guys ready for our marooning?
Yeah.
So ready.
So ready.
We'll see how this goes.
It's gonna be great. Vince and Jared made their triumphant return with the lost bag, just in time for us to catch the boat out to Eno. The closer we got to Eno, the worse the weather became. By the time we set foot on the shore, it had already started raining. Well, we're here. The weather is not great, but the good news is we got all today and most of tomorrow for it to improve. And as long as it's raining, we might as well get in the ocean anyway. There goes our captain. We're stranded for the night.
Forever, Capitan.
Here's the room on the island. A little more rustic than the bungalow back at Robert Reamer's, but you can't really beat this view. It's kind of gloomy, but we're doing it! The weather on land may have been dismal, but it was still a nice day under the waves. Right away I saw this weird looking thing, which I think is a snake sea cucumber. Then I practiced my freediving, which I am notoriously terrible at, but it was still fun with hundreds of fish swimming around me. I couldn't believe some of the coral formations I found offshore. There was so much life in every direction I looked, and the reef was one of the most beautiful places I've ever snorkeled. After a couple hours of snorkeling, we were all ready for a snack, but I made sure to check the shallows for any neat creatures on my way in, and I found a trumpetfish, a flounder, and this school of juvenile fish getting chased by a trumpetfish. It's still raining, but it's slowing down a bit. We spent a couple hours snorkeling, and then we had a snack lunch, and now we're just out beachcombing, looking for little crabs and shells and stuff. Almost every shell on the beach had a hermit crab living in it. We found a smaller island with a fancy-looking resort on it, separated from ours by a shallow channel. But we'd come to Eno specifically for the rustic experience, so we decided not to try to escape. Should we escape to the other island? Since it was low tide, we could walk far out into the intertidal zone, where we found all sorts of animals, like small eels and this smooth red-eye crab, which is toxic to humans. Luckily, we weren't planning on eating it, so that wasn't a problem. We also found some familiar creatures that reminded me of a time 6 years ago that Vince still teases me over.
Oh, they're stars, Vince. They're brittle stars.
How do you know they're brittle stars?
Because I can tell by that one.
Apparently, that's just not a satisfying explanation coming from someone whose nickname is Ranger Katie. Vince didn't wear shoes on the walk because Vince never wears shoes if he can help it. Shockingly, this decision ended up being a bad one. By the time we got back to camp, we were all cold from being rained on all day. Vince is trying to light a fire. I think he's kidding himself.
Matches won't even light. It might be too damp to light these.
Yeah, that $10 grill lighter might have been worth it.
Oh, wait. Oh, joke's on you. I got a blaze.
You need more stuff, though. This was the part of the day where we really got to live out our island survival dreams.
Oh no, it went out.
These palm fronds would light easy enough, but they burned themselves out very quickly, and there wasn't anything substantial we could use to get an actual fire going. This didn't stop Vince from continuing to pile more and more palm fronds on top of the flame, though.
Oh, sucks. It's gonna be an uphill battle.
It's been so wet and demoralizing, but we finally got a fire going for about 30 seconds, and that just really lifted our moods. Now we know we can do this. We can survive until tomorrow. We can't keep a fire going, but I think between all of the food we brought and all of the water we brought and the huts with beds, I think we'll make it, yeah. Watching Vince desperately try to keep this fire going is actually the best entertainment we have around here right now.
You'll enjoy it for 5 minutes.
I don't go crazy.
Oh my god, he did it. Oh.
Well, spilled coconut all over my shorts. I need a non-coral rock.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
This is a coral island.
Maybe.
Oh,
no!
Nice.
It tastes like coconut water.
Oh, you go ahead.
Oh, I'm good. It's not that good. Seeing as we're not actually surviving, I don't have to subsist on coconut. Wow. This is one of the blandest coconuts I've ever had.
It's a little less than right.
I think I want my pizza stick.
I'm full. All good.
Wow, we distracted ourselves with trying to build that fire for so long that the tide is up and it actually stopped raining. Looks like hopefully the weather is going to be better from here on in, so we are going to be here till about 4:30 tomorrow. If the weather improves, we will have ample chances to walk around this place again, snorkel some more with the actual sunlight, which always makes the reef way more colorful, and get some good pictures from around the island. I took a little walk because I was so excited that it wasn't raining, and I even came across some more neat animals along the way. Holy cow, I was just walking and I scared up a pretty large crab. And just as the crab was running into the ocean to get away from me, this little eel jumped out and attacked it, and it actually bit it, but the crab got away because it's way too big for the eel's mouth. It was so cool to see though. Of course I didn't catch it on film, but I did get a little video of the eel first. We've been seeing these guys in the shallows. They blend in with the sand. When you get close, they tend to swim away really, really fast. This one is still hanging out here. Oh, actually there it goes, out to sea. So the neat thing about Majuro is that it's an atoll. It's basically a circular island with a lagoon in the inside. And then on the outside of the island is the ocean. We've been snorkeling on the lagoon side, not the ocean side, because this side is so much choppier. And actually, it's really rocky and really shallow. The sun was setting as I made my way back to the cabin where we hung out on the porch and I finally got to eat that pizza stick. The entertainment now is watching geckos eat bugs. This is what you do on a deserted island.
This guy's playing the long game right over here.
There's a third gecko?
They never get full.
No, haven't seen them get full yet. I think these are amphibians, actually.
Really?
Geckos?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're lizards.
I think.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I guess they're not really all that wet.
Because their little hands are so sticky that you're like, yeah, they've got to be an
They
amphibian.
seem like they're gooey.
After about an hour of watching geckos, I'm not exaggerating, Vince and I went out to the fire, which was somehow miraculously still burning, and we noticed that the coconuts we'd opened up were covered in hungry hermit crabs. We doused the fire and then went to sleep hoping for sun the next day. Well, we did end up with much better weather today. It was so nice to wake up to sunshine and a beautiful sunrise this morning. The rain was getting a little demoralizing yesterday, but we still had a good time anyway. It's still early in the morning, we've already eaten breakfast, and we're about to go snorkeling already. Even though snorkeling in the rain was still fun, it felt a lot better to jump into the water with the sun out. The corals and fish looked way more colorful, and the crystal clear waters with beautiful sunbeams shining through made me so happy. There were also even more fish out than the previous day. This was exactly the deserted island experience we'd been dreaming of, with cotton candy clouds in the sky and the bluest water we could have asked for. We snorkeled for a couple of hours, eventually coming back to shore to rest and drink some water. And we realized it wasn't even 10 a.m. yet. We still had a full day ahead of us. We had a really lovely morning snorkel session. We went all the way to the tip of the island, and seeing everything in the sunlight was a lot more beautiful. I walked off down the beach to take some pictures of the blue water, and Jared started filming me with his drone. One second I could hear the drone buzzing over my head, and the next second, the drone was in a tree. But we devised a foolproof plan to get it back. Oh, there goes. Nice, Vince. After that close call, Vince, Rachel, and I decided to go for a walk. A short trail through the forest led us out to the ocean side of the island. There, we found the quintessential type of palm trees that I daydream about in the middle of Michigan winter. At high tide, the waves were a lot bigger out in the ocean, and Vince went for a swim because I can only assume he enjoys making me worry. Once I knew he was safe, I went off looking for birds and I found some beautiful white terns. After all that time on land, we were all feeling overheated, so we got back in the lagoon for one last swim, and Jared tried diving for the first time ever.
Hold on, I gotta like keep my heart rate down.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Woo! That was pretty good. Finally low tide again, so we're gonna walk around the island again. The Eno Traverse was definitely prettier in the sunlight, but we didn't find any notable sea creatures this time around. Instead, we just enjoyed our last moments on our little private paradise. The boat pulled up to shore to pick us up shortly after we got back from our walk, and it was time to return to Majuro. We'd had so much fun during our short time in the Marshall Islands, and it had been amazing to get away from everything and connect with nature for a couple of days. I was sad that we had to leave Majuro the next day, but even though our time in the Marshall Islands was coming to an end, our trip was just beginning. So make sure to like and subscribe to see more beautiful destinations from Micronesia. This is it. We're all packed up and we're ready to leave Majuro, and then we're headed to Chuuk in the Federated States of Micronesia. Gummy bears, that's all we need?
2 pounds of gummy bears.
That'll
$15.
sustain us for a day and a half. 2 pounds of gummy bears.
Thank you. It looks really good in there.
Katie, are you this many?
Quick, somebody grab the rum.
This guy isn't even near any bugs.
He's playing the long game.
Oh, he's out. Smells like sushi, but it looks like spam.